there's this tefillah that we say every single day. We've discussed it before, so we don't draw attention to it. We say, Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu mechal lanu malkeinu ki fashanu. In English, forgive us our God because we have sinned. And mechal, give us reconnection, forgiveness. Ki fashanu, because we were negligent, we messed up. So imagine you go to the judge and you say, Your Honor, I killed him. Forgive me because I killed him. Wouldn't he ask you, and? Say, no, forgive me because I killed him. Do you see the problem? Why should I forgive you? Because you killed him. 1 second. That's why I'm here to judge you. That's the problem, not the solution. Yet we go straight face to Hashem and we say, Hashem, I did the crime. Forgive me because I messed up, because I committed the crime. You're saying that twice. It makes no sense. Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu mechal lanu malkeinu ki fashan. Right? Something wrong with the way we utter that. Forgive me, God, because I'm. If you say because I'm sorry that I killed him, okay, we're beginning to talk. If you say despite that, still I'm a good guy, got it. The last thing you want to say is because I did that. And I think this borders on a whole discussion of how we treat Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and the whole period of Aseret Teshuva. I venture to say that many of us, we go into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur wanting forgiveness. We want to feel a connection. Rachatsu hizaku. To be able to wash and get rid of all the negativity and be able to feel pure and feel connected to Hashem. That's what we want. To have a bond and a connection with Hashem. So how do we go Rosh Hashanah? We say, Hashem, I need a good year. Last year, well, there were good parts to it, but it was pretty intense. And can we have a better year this year? So we want to daven for, right? We go to Rosh Hashanah, we say, Tichle shana v'kilalotea, Techel shana v'birchotea, get rid of all the curses of last year and give us some new blessings for this year. And every one of us walks in with we have a general issue as a people, and we have the issues which every one of us face, and it's hard and it's difficult. So you come to Hashem, and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur and Aseret Teshuva it's a request for the judge, the supernal judge, to forgive you and grant you a good year. And then you cry to Hashem. And when you cry, the Arizal says whoever doesn't cry in the 10 days of Teshuvah, his soul is not complete. It's critical to cry. So how do you cry? It's not a problem to cry if you just think about the problems that you have and the issues and you realize you're in Hashem's hands. And then you cry. But then on some level, do you ever do this? Strike a deal with Hashem. Do you ever go behind the scenes and say, okay, Hashem, I get it, that, but me and you, we have a connection. And God, I davened, I said, whatever, you forgive me. I'm going to still daven or whatever, but you forgive me and it's good, we have a good year, right? Just you and me. And kind of like, everyone else needs to do this whole process of going through the whole thing. I'm just going to have that connection, right? I think somewhere deep in us, embedded in our psyche, we build deals with Hashem. The whole issue is that the way we relate to Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and to Hashem and everything else is Hashem above and me down here. And there's a disconnect between us and Hashem. The whole notion of Hashem judging us is the problem. The notion of there being someone up there who's deciding my year, good or bad, and through me asking him again and again and requesting and begging and pleading, then he's going to give me the good year. What that does to you is mean that you need to just be a good person up until Motzei Yom Kippur. Just don't do any Averas till after those gates get locked. When they get locked up, now you go party. Survived that. I hope I did. Right? But that's the issue. let's redefine the experience of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur and everything we're doing. Let's redefine the words Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu in terms of, remember that guy I told you about who's so much, I'm thinking about him so much, this guy, but he's married and he has 4 kids, or 6 kids, whatever he has, and he loves his family, he really does, and he wants his marriage to be there. He's got a great marriage. Life is great, at least the way he describes it. And his problem is that he has a very strong internal addiction. No one on the outside is forcing him. There's a little thing inside of him that's forcing him to go do something that's very, very, very silly. And he knows it's very silly. And he gets it. And he's calling me up and he says, I need to know how to get out of this. I need to know how not to do this, not to lose my family. Help. That's a call for tshuva. You see the difference? He's not asking how I get Hashem to forgive me, to give me a good year. He doesn't care. Motzei Yom Kippur, he's not sitting over there going and like, okay, I survived that. That's not the issue. His question is, I need to save my marriage and my kids. How do I do this? Help me to save my marriage, right? That's how you do tshuva. Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu does not mean forgive us God because we sinned. Chatanu means we're lacking. I got a problem. I'm stuck. I have an addiction. I have an anxiety. I have a problem. Hashem, reconnect to me. The word forgive, I don't know what forgive means, but slach means to reconnect. So Hashem, I'm lacking. Let's rebuild a connection. And mechal lanu malkeinu kifashanu, I'm negligent. I don't get the power of who I am. So allow me to download from you a new way of looking at who you are and who I am and to rebuild that connection with you. Help me, God. That's why you're saying, Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu. Chatanu means lacking. Because I'm lacking the connection to you, can we build a connection? Can we get united with each other? Now, this borders on the difference between, it's really a work of Aseret Tshuva and Elul and the whole Slichas and everything we're about to go through. It's a work not of me asking Hashem for forgiveness. The first thing to ask Hashem for forgiveness for is for looking at Him as separate and outside of you. Because that's where the problem lies. It's about me building a connection with inside me. Now, we all want to build a connection with ourselves. We want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. We're seeking happiness all the time until we discover that happiness and Hashem are one and the same. So the way to find happiness is by internalizing Hashem. And the one who's doing the work is not Hashem, but you. So the work of Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is for us to internalize our relationship with Hashem. And Hashem says, I'm going to empower you. I'm going to give you all the tools, all the power, everything there. The work is for you to do the work. So we might need to reframe it. I want to be happy. How do I become happy? How do I feel fulfilled and good and not have any negative experiences and feelings inside me and just feel connected? If you do that, when Yom Kippur ends, you know what you feel? Connected. Good. I feel like it's real. Hashem's in my life. What's the barometer? How you treat the food on Motzei Yom Kippur. That's the barometer. You finish Ne'ilah, and then there's food. So do you like pounce on it? Because, food, I'm free. Or do you like, I mean, if you're hungry and you're stuck, fine, I got it. But, do you like, no, I wish Yom Kippur would be longer. It's much easier, right? Yom Kippur at like 6 p.m. is hard. But once it's 7:37, it's over, it's like, it's very easy to fast on. So it's like, it's a certain edelkeit of, I got a connection with Hashem. I'm looking for a deeper connection. I feel so good to be in Hashem's embrace. I want to stay here. Yom Kippur is not a sad or difficult time. Yom Kippur is a connected time. Lifnei Hashem titoru means if you get Lifnei Hashem, if you feel God, you'll feel pure. It's a consequence. It's feeling good about your connection to Hashem. So Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur needs to be a good, solid, awesome experience. Awesome is actually a good word here. Because it is awesome. It's Yom Ne'roim. It's intense. But it's me building a relationship with Hashem. So let's go back to the basics. We Jews introduced Hashem into the world. That's what we did. Our father, Avraham Avinu, introduced God into the world. So, do you think he succeeded? Is there any point of introducing Hashem further into the world? Or does the world already get it? He did his job. He succeeded. Apparently, Avraham Avinu succeeded pretty good. Because nobody knew about Hashem. Everybody was pagan. Today, the world at large, even the ones who tell you that they're atheist, they're not really atheist. Everybody believes in Hashem. On some level, very deep down, yes, but there's a God, there's a higher power, superpower, whatever. Everybody believes in Hashem. Okay, not everybody, but if you're real with yourself, there's a lot of very good goyim who actually have a good relationship with Hashem, and it's wonderful and special. Yirmiyahu Navi tells the people, he says, Mi lo yiro'acha, we say this in the Slichis, Mi lo yiro'acha, who doesn't fear you, Hashem, Melech HaGoyim, you're king of the nations. All the nations get it, that there's a God. It's very real to them. Malachi, the last prophet, says, Mi mizrach shemesh ad mevoyoi, from east to west, Godel shni bagoyim. Hashem says, my name is great among the nations. So, it's actually an incredible experience if you go to a 12-step program and you see not Jewish people, and they have a beautiful relationship with Hashem. They are so real. They're like, I need God, I want God, I feel there's no way I can survive without God. It is absolutely beautiful. It's not Judaism. It's part of the 7 Noahide laws. Sheva mitzvahs b'nei Noach include belief in Hashem. When someone says, I believe in Hashem, you're like, that's great. If you don't believe in Hashem, that's a problem. You're supposed to believe in Hashem. Jews don't believe in Hashem. That would be an inaccurate way to describe Judaism. Because when it speaks about Avram Avinu, so it says, Vayikra Sham Avram, B'Shem Hashem, Kael, Olam. How would that translate in English? Hashem called there the name of Hashem, Kael Olam. What's Kael Olam? What? Kael is Hashem. Like that. So Kael Olam. What? God of the universe, God of the world. But how would you say God of the universe in Hebrew? Kael? What? Olam. Kael Olam? Aren't we missing a little something there? Ha'olam. You just conveniently skipped out a hey. God of the world would be Kael Ha'olam, God of the world. Kael Olam doesn't mean literally God of the world. You know what it means? Kael Olam. Kael Olam. What? Godly world. Kael Olam. God is the world. What does that mean? Oh, that's Avraham Avinu's legacy. And it's not a legacy. It's just a really lot of hard work. What was Avraham doing? Avraham came with a message to the world. The message was, Olam means world. What is Olam? It's the etymology of the word Olam. Comes from the word mystery, hidden. Elim. Olam means hiddenness. We live in a space where you don't see Hashem. Hashem is hiding. Avraham Avinu came and taught us, Kael Olam. He's not God of the world. That's what the Gentiles have. Hashem is God and He's above and He's very nice and beautiful. We don't believe that. We don't believe in Hashem because the word believe is the problem. Everything that happens to you happens from Hashem. There is nothing that's not God. That's Avraham Avinu. Kael Olam. God is what's happening to me now. Now you ask a question. If Avraham Avinu were around today, is there still what to do? Oh boy, is there what to do. Every moment of your life there's what to do. Every moment of your life happens basically in 2 different frames. The first frame it happens in is called Olam. And then your job is to flip it to Kael. Right? So think about it this way. If somebody is, If somebody falls into a faint, one of the ways to wake him up, the first thing you do to wake him up, what would you do? He's faint and he's on the ground. How would you wake him up? He's in a deep sleep.
Say his name.
Say his name. Right? It's a very strange thing to do. Because if you say, Leah, so you're not Leah. Leah is just Le, Lamed, Aleph, and Hey. There are 3 letters. They're not you. But yet if your name is Leah, and I say Leah, there's a solid chance that if there's anything to wake you up, you'll wake up. So your name is this very, very connected something that gets you to wake up and to return to who you are. Hashem in this world is sleeping. Vayikatz ki yoshen Hashem. He wakes up as if he's sleeping. What does it mean he's sleeping? It means when something happens to you, Hashem is sleeping. He's not noticeable. How do you find Hashem? Simple. You say, Hashem. That's what Avraham Avinu was doing. Vayikra Sham b'shem Hashem kel olam. So Avraham Avinu was able to identify anything that happens by the name of Hashem. It's not that easy. It doesn't mean just to say Hashem. It means whatever happens to you, you identify it by Hashem's name. It means you don't look at it as external what it is, and what you want to do is identify this and see Hashem revealed in front of you. So you are exactly the same as Avraham Avinu. You're facing a concealed world, a dark world. You don't see God. And what you want to do is discover Hashem in every little thing that transpires. Now, we are not trained that way. The way we are trained is, and this is the Western issue, is that we solve problems by solving them, because we're modern people. So when you have a problem, solve it. The way to solve problems is not by solving them, but rather by all problems. Today, it's called manifesting. It's by feeling good about it. It actually works. If you feel good about the moment, in the moment, regardless of what's going on, and this is constant and hard work of finding Hashem in the moment, what you're doing is flipping the script. You're changing it from yesh to ayin. So the world is created, everything is godly, and it's not noticeable. And what you're doing is finding Hashem in the moment. That's called calling Hashem's name in the moment. So Shlomo HaMelech in Mishlei says, "V'nirgan mafrid aluf." Nirgan means vayirognu, to fight, to argue, to bicker. You, with your complaining and disconnectedness, you separate Hashem, and you're not able to find Hashem in the world. And leta'ava yevakesh nifrad. Your desire to be separate from Hashem is the problem, which means that, see, one day, bayom hahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. What does that mean? One day, we'll see Hashem in the world. Everything will be echad. Today, everything's also echad, but you don't see Hashem. Now, why don't you see Hashem? Because Hashem's name is Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei. Remember we discussed that last time? After the shir, someone sent me a beautiful picture of, I should put out a thumbnail actually, of the koisel, not the koisel, that wall in Yerushalayim. And he showed me, he took a picture, says it's real. And the grass growing in the wall, and literally it's spelling Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei. But where's Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei etched, and where's it written? In you, inside your heart. Kishem Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei nikra alecha. You're named Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei. The problem is, you know what Yud-Kei, Vav-Kei is? Yud-Kei, and then what's a Vav? A Vav is just the same as a Yud, it's a longer Yud, right? So, Bayom hahu yihiyeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. What's yihiyeh? Yud-Kei, Yud-Kei, right? Nowadays, you don't have Hashem echad, because there's Yud-Kei and there's Vav-Kei. There's the way he is, and the Vav is how we down here relate to him. It's a longer Vav. So you have to work hard to find Hashem. One day, you'll see Hashem in everything. That's Yihiyeh. Yud-Kei, Yud-Kei. Means up and down, you'll see Hashem no matter which way you go. Today, we see him one way, he sees us another way, and that's where the issue is. The goal is to be able to see Hashem and to discover him and to feel his presence all the time. And your life will change completely once you master this art. Wish we could, but at least we learn what it's about, know what we're supposed to do, understand the challenge, and know the work that's required of us. This work is the work of getting close to Hashem by calling Hashem's name, by becoming a Jew who's a maimin, a Jew who has emunah, not belief, emunah. Emunah means to be connected, right? Emunah is omanut. You know what omanut is? Craft. What's the craft? The craft is, if somebody's a happy person, well, yeah, Hashem gave some people the ability to be happy people automatically, and the rest of us are not built naturally happy. We're built in a naturally disconnected way, and we don't feel happy. So the search for happiness is the search for godliness. And it's not a search that happens outside, it happens inside. That means nothing ever has to happen in your life different to what's going on right now for you to be happy. And if you can see that your life right now is happy, what does that mean? To call Hashem, B'Shem Hashem, Kel Olam. Olam is the world, Olam is the concealment, the problem. If you can go into the problem and say, this is awesome. Like, wow. My kid just screamed at me and cursed me out. And I'm like on the ground, smacked up. This is unbelievable. I'm feeling so great. But you know that if you could, you'll change the whole house. Everything will flip around. So how we do that? Lo pashut. But that, by doing that, you'll change everything. That nothing has to happen outside other than you and me changing the space we're in. What we want to do is realize Hashem is not there, He's here, He's in this moment. We need a process of Elul and Slichos and Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to go through this whole avodah, being able to get to that point that we say, Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. And then Hashem or Elokim, Hashem or Elokim, Hashem or Elokim. What does that mean? I'm calling Hashem. Where there's Elokim, which is nature, concealment of Hashem, that's God. That's God, that's God, that's God. If you did this and you walk out of Yom Kippur, what do you see now? You have a new world. You're like, okay, I get it. Whatever happens is Hashem. And now when you walk out, you're hopefully going to, it's constant work, right? It's a work of Teshuva. What does Teshuva mean in English? To? Return. Return to what? Return to who you are. Not regret for sins and whatever that you've done. That's not, nobody sins. Teshuva is to return, to discover how, like you when you were a baby and you're just happy. Why were you happy? Because you're happy, why not? It's just to go back to an inner state of joy and happiness. Because your life is great and you're in mommy's arms. She's holding you. Hashem is your father. He's holding you. And stop worrying about the next moment and what's going to be and what's going to happen. No, it's just amazing. So the kid screams at you. It's like, how amazing is it that I have a kid? Wow. Right? I never told you this story once. Just comes to mind. This lady, she was a very, very prominent surgeon in the city. And she described how one day, she was telling me this, she says she didn't get married until much later. She was like, doing her medicine and finishing it. And then she got married one day. And after she got married, it took a long time to find the shidduch. And then it took a long time to have a kid. And so she was really much older when she had her baby. And then she was working, and she's like in her 40s, and she has this kid, and she's taking the kid to school. And the bus was coming late. And it's 7:45 in the morning. She's going to be in school, and she's going to be waiting for her in the surgery. She's got patients waiting for her for the surgery early in the morning. And she's sitting over there, and the bus is late. She's like, you can't do this. So she decided, I'm done. After a couple of weeks, she goes into the principal's office. She's coming inside. She's about to scream and shout that you can't do this. You have to understand that, the driver needs to be there on time. Life needs to function on time because I have a ripple effect in the whole hospital when you do this. And she's fuming. She says, I walked inside, as she tells me. I walked inside into the principal's office, and I'm sitting inside opposite the principal. And I was about to scream at him, and I just burst out in laughter. And I was just like, in a state of absolute glee, absolute excitement. I couldn't stop laughing. And the principal was looking at me like, lady, what's going on? And then I told the principal, I said, I've got this problem because the bus and the whatever and this and this and this, it's coming late. And the principal says, so why are you laughing? And I told the principal, I cannot believe that I'm in the principal's office, upset that my kid's bus is coming late. And I just realized that I'm screaming about a child. I have a child to scream about. That the child, I waited so long for this kid. This is the most exciting, I always wanted to be a mommy screaming about her kid not being able to come on time. That's amazing. You know what happened? The bus started coming on time. Right away. Because you tell the principal that, and they're like, yeah, I got it, okay. As opposed to you go and scream and shout and do whatever. Come on. It works a whole different world. There is a tefillah, a kapitel tefillah that we say. We say it every single morning by Baruch She'amar. And it's very important to understand what it says. Tehillim, it says, Lamnatzeach bin Gines mizmor shir, Elekim yechanenu v'yivrochenu, Ya'er panav itanu sela. Right? Anyone? English? Sorry for my test today. Ya'er panav itanu sela. What's Ya'er panav? Shine his face. Itanu sela. With us forever. But you agree with me, something doesn't make sense about the grammar? Ya'er panav, maybe Eleinu sela. He'll shine his face to us forever. Something's wrong when you say Ya'er panav, he'll illuminate his face with us forever. What's the with us? Something wrong with that word with us. Now, I want to just point out, the goal is to learn concepts, but not just to learn the concepts. The goal is to change our davening. Because every concept we learn over here needs to be applied. The way to apply it is, first and foremost, in davening. Davening is avoida, it's work, it's me changing my perspective. So when you sit in daven, you say certain words, what you want to do is be able to flip your perspective as you're saying those words. So try it out when you say it's before Baruch She'amar every day. And you say, Ya'er panav itanu sela. So what we want to do is learn what it means and then do the work. What's the work? The work is, just because you heard about it in a shir, doesn't mean you got it. It means now you know what to get. It means now the work can begin. So the work is to say the words and to internalize the message, and it's hard work. That's why we keep on saying it, because to flip the message over is not easy at all. So here's what it says. Panav is the face. Why is the face called the face? Why is the face called the panim? Because it's the place where I see bifnim. If I want to see who you are, I don't look at your achoraim, I look at your panim. Your panim tells me who you are. In this world, there's a panim and achor. Panim and achor is all the time, everything that happens to you in life. When life happens to you, it's achor. What does that mean? What happens to you always comes in the form of olam. It's a negative default setting. Always. The way it happens to you, comes your way, something happened. Now the question is, what you do with what just happened. So you'll notice on yourself, as something happens in your heart, something transpires, right? It's always amazing to watch your heart. You feel your heart pounding with stress, with anxiety, with worry, with whatever, or with excitedness. And you'll see something's transpiring in your heart. That something is coming, the energies are coming from the world. But you're receiving them in chitzonius. In other words, you're allowing the external force to dictate how you feel. So when your child screams at you, the natural reaction, which is called external, achoraim, is that you receive an energy and you internalize the energy and you feel whatever feeling they're feeling. If you're feeling angry because someone said something angry to you, guarantee you they're also feeling angry. If you're feeling anxiety, that's what they're feeling. That's why you got that feeling. It came to you from somewhere else into you. What's your mission in life? Change it over. So the change begins inside the heart. It's to move it over from one side to the other side. Like Shlomo Melech says in Shir Hashirim, in the name of Hashem, Libavtini achoti kala. You are my heart. What does that mean? You want to help the situation in Israel? Are you scared of Hezbollah and Iran? You sometimes feel scared. Yeah, if you have a daughter in seminary, right, sitting next to in Tzfas, there's a fear. I'll tell you, there's a fear. I mean, yeah, it's scary. And when you take that fear, when you receive it, and what do? You accept it. There's actually nothing you can do. You can't go and, you're not the army, and you're not the prime minister. So what can you do? You can help a lot. Libavtini achoti kala. Hashem says, the world's going to send you feelings. Your job is to change those feelings inside your heart, and thereby you'll change the world. Because you are the epicenter of the world, and how you feel dictates messages to the rest of the world. So in a microcosm, it's easy to understand. When something negative happens to you, all you need to do is flip the conversation into a happy space. And Hashem says, there's a mechanism of how Hashem operates. And it's so important to understand this mechanism. Hashem doesn't do things for you. Hashem works with you. And He gives you the power to be able to do things, but you do them. That's what it means. Ya'er panav, not eleinu, sorry, itanu, Selah. Hashem says, I know you want me to do the work. I know you want to just say that I'm going to do it and finish, but you've got to do the work. What's the work? You want to feel joy in life? You're asking Hashem to feel joy? Good, so feel it. Do it. Feel it now. Whatever you want, start doing it now. And when you do it now, and when you bring Hashem into the moment, you'll already get it. So you say, so my kid's screaming at me, why should I be joyous? Because if you're joyous, then you'll help your child and they won't scream at you. But I should be joyous? That's so weird. Yeah. Hashem wants you to call His name over here. Right? When you're feeling that anger over something that happened, take the anger and say, why am I feeling anger now? Because that person made me angry. But everything's from Hashem. So Hashem made me angry. Okay, it's very angry. You don't need to do anything. You just need to feel that you're angry. You just need to point out that you're angry. Just need to notice that I'm crazy, I'm angry. And don't do anything about it. Just sit there in the feeling of anger. Let it dissipate. Just notice it. What we do is we let the feeling dictate everything, and then we go crazy, and then we operate for the next decade with that feeling of anger. And a marriage fall apart after 30 years. How do marriages fall apart after 30 years? The answer is 30 years of Gehenna. That's what it was. It was the whole time that. And you could just flip that energy if you decide that it's not easy. This is not easy at all. Right? I wish I could just say, okay, got it. It's a struggle. It's so hard. But Hashem's telling you, if you flip the way you do that, that's the job. That is Judaism. Avram Avinu says, Keil Olam. I'm calling Hashem. I see God here, not there, not in the next moment. I see God right now. Keil Olam. This is Hashem. This is Hashem. This is Hashem. Hashem rejoices in us. He loves us. He tells us all the time, right? He says, we say it on Shabbos, because you love us, you love the Jew, you called him Yisrael. What does He want? He wants He wants us to be excited over Him. How do you get excited over Him? When your child screams at you. Just download a message from Hashem. So let's break it down, right? What am I happy about? I have a child who's off and whatever, and he's screaming at me. It's terrible. It's only terrible if you're taking it as a yesh, as an ego. But if you're taking it and saying, okay, so a child screaming at me, it makes me feel resentful, makes me feel angry. And you notice what you feel, and you just sit there in the feeling, and you say, and you're not judging it, just notice what you feel. Got it. Hard, I got this feeling. Let it dissipate, let the feeling just run. And then ask yourself a question. Is it really so bad? Meaning, Hashem put me in this world, and He put me in this space, and He gave me a child. And He wants me to bring happiness to the child. The child is angry at me. not at me. The child's angry. The kid's angry. That's why I'm angry. I'm feeling angry because the kid sent anger to me. Okay, and it's not really my problem at all. It's Hashem's problem. Hashem wants me to bring joy to this child. So I'll bring joy to myself. I'll bring joy to the kid. Easier said than done. Yeah, much easier said than done. But you'll discover that when you do it, the kid wasn't upset at you anyway. The kid was just upset, not at you. The fact that the kid's screaming at you is just a technicality. They're not screaming at you. And when you differentiate from that, and you're able to just be joyous that you have a kid, that you're able to do stuff for Hashem, it's so good. Right? It's not about me. Who cares? Finished. You know that all addiction and depression come from, I think, like, I saw this brought down by the Mitzvah Rebbe, the Baal Tanya's son. He says it all happens because of how you relate to Parnasa. Parnasa and everything that follows with it. So, if we set ourselves up, right? I need to make a living. I need to be happy. I need to be successful. We're all taught that. That's a default setting of who we are. I need to achieve something in my life. You set yourself up for, without even a shred of a doubt, watch the addiction come about. Watch the depression come about because you're set incorrectly. The system is set wrong. Teshuva means reset. I don't need to be successful, and I don't need to make a living, and I don't need to make money, and there's nothing I need because I didn't make myself. I don't need anything. And I don't need to be happy. And if I'm not, what happens? Nothing. Because that's the truth, right? The truth is that you're just a little human being, and it doesn't make a difference anyway. And the moment you let go of that need, that I need to have good children, and I need to have money, and I need to have a nice house, and I need to have a good marriage, or pretend I do, or whatever it is, you let go of it. And if I don't, it's all fine. Let go of all those things that we're like stuck in. Then you discover bliss and happiness. Then you have a good marriage, then you have a good children, then you make money, and all the things happen because it's not about me and my needs. And what Hashem is looking for, he says, and Hashem just okay, I got it, you just override. Ya'er panav, he'll illuminate his pnimius, your ability to see the world in a new light, with one thing that has to happen, and it's not going to happen until you do it. Itanu sela. Not eleinu, not to you, but with you. And that's the work. It's hard work to rejoice. What's the rejoice? Rejoice with Hashem. At any point in time, you have an neshama. You're a yid. You got an neshama inside you. So great. So start paying attention to things that make you genuinely happy. But start with holy things, right? When you daven in the morning, just when you daven, touch your lips. Now, these things are moving. Wow. These physical lips that are mine get to utter words of God. How happy that's amazing. That's so powerful. I'm getting to daven to Hashem. I get to do a mitzvah for Hashem. The more you notice the things that you have, I have a child, okay? That's amazing. So I get to have a child. And I get to educate someone. They're not my problem. They're Hashem's problem. You don't know how to make kids. Only Hashem does. And it's Hashem's problem. And I get to be the conduit to draw Hashem's energy there. Take the stress off and bring God in. And you'll discover happiness. When you rejoice with Hashem, when we rejoice with Hashem, then the energy is connected one to the other. What's the work of Aseret Teshuva and Slichas? Slichas begin with a tefillah. The tefillah comes from Daniel, I believe. He says the following words, and they're so powerful. Matzah Shabbos, unless you're Sephardi. This is what we start saying. Boishti v'nichlamti eleikai leharim panai eilecha. It's towards the beginning of Slichas. Translate the word boshti. I'm embarrassed. V'nichlamti. Another form of embarrassment. Leharim elokai panai eilecha. Leharim, to lift up my face to you. What does it mean? I'm ashamed of what? I'm ashamed. Why am I ashamed? I'm ashamed because I did the way we look at it. I sinned, I messed up, and I'm ashamed. Right? No, not in a negative sense. What it is, it's not me asking Hashem, I'm so sorry, I'm ashamed, I want to ask for forgiveness for that. No. Hashem, I don't see the world through your lens. So I'm sitting here, Slichas time, I'm starting the work. I want to see the world through Hashem's lens. That Keil Olam, that everything that happens from Hashem, and be excited over it. But Hashem, it's not working. And I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassing that Hashem is in front of your face and you don't see him. It's embarrassing. Imagine you're basically like looking in the mirror, in front, you're staring at Hashem, but you see a mirror, so you don't see him. So you're blocked. But Hashem's this two-way mirror. Hashem's on the other side looking at you. I'm embarrassed, Hashem, that you're doing everything for me, and everything's happening so good for me, and I'm sad, and I'm feeling angry, and I'm feeling anxious, and I'm feeling all the negative feelings. That's panai. Panai is my pnimiyut. The work of slichas is for me to discover that Hashem is ever present in my life all the time. That's why it takes a long time. It's not a second. In Parshas Bechukoisai, in the middle of the Teichacha, it says, "Ve'af gam zois, biyoisam be'eretz eveim, lo me'astim v'lo ge'altim lechalaisam." Even then, when they're in the enemy's hands, I didn't despise them. I didn't find them repugnant. Lechaloisam, to destroy them. The Hasidic translation of lechaloisam is, every Jew is a kala. What's a kala? Kala is a bride, right? Hashem's the chassan, we're the bride. Why is a kala called a kala? What's the name kala? I don't know what bride is with Latin, but what's kala? Why is a kala called a kala? Because kala is klois hanefesh, it's a yearning. Kilayon, right? It's a yearning. So Hashem says, every Jew is a kala. It means me and you are married. We're married all the time. I'm with you every single second. I'm here. The problem is, this kala is in a shukah de borsaki, which means in a repugnant, disgusting, smelling tannery. In a horrible place. You're in the bathroom, basically. Because your head space and your heart space is all in negativity, and you're allowing negativity to fester all around you. Hashem says, "Ve'af gam zois," I promise you, even when you're in your enemy's hands, I'm not letting you go. I'm still with you every step of the way. And you're still my kala. It's wild, right? I mean, they say that in Israel today, people are getting to realize that we're the people of the book. Israel's becoming more Tanachic. Why? Because it's like a whole year already of a war, and it's intense war, it's real. And you're like, why do you want to kill me? And then you realize, they want to kill you because you're a Jew. Why do they want to kill you? Because you represent God. All the nations, they can't handle that. So invite that beautiful experience and feeling into your life. You represent Hashem. What problems do you have? You're my kala, even though you're in the shukah de bursaki, even though you're in a disgusting atmosphere and the whole aroma and the whole aura is so negative, but the Jew remains pure inside. And the tefillah of Slach lanu avinu ki chatanu mechal al malkeinu ki fashanu is, Hashem, we need power. So we're asking Hashem, help me to be able to see you. Help me to be able to see how awesome it is. Yeah, you could live in a negative space and see that we had an October 7 this year and we had so much negativity. So bad. The year has been terrible. Really like a Holocaust this year. You could also flip the space and say that was pretty bad. It means that Jews are very, very, very important. Even very, very liberal, secular, leftist Jews, they're so holy. And suddenly our enemies need to remind us that we're holy. But we've had a year where, 300 and whatever missiles were thrown at us in one day, and Every single one of them was able, technology. Yeah, right. Technology doesn't seem to work. Only one mistake in technology and it's finished. Not one, every one of them could have caused devastation. Not one was able to land. We're able to be, this somehow mysteriously, we don't even know what he was trying to do, right? Hashem makes miracles when you don't even know about it, levadai. That's amazing. This guy in Iran was just flying on a helicopter. Who knows? And suddenly, he's out. Guaranteed he was about to do something against us. He had some bad ideas. And we just took him out. Hashem did it. Somehow, 2 days before, the Prime Minister of Israel decided to put on film publicly and publicize that. And whatever. You might not notice the miracles. Maybe. And then then suddenly a bomb blasts in the middle of Iran and we succeed. The fact that we're so brilliant and we have such a great espionage force has a lot to do. And the fact that the Jews are standing ganged upon by the whole world, and instead of falling apart, we're becoming stronger and stronger than ever. And then suddenly there's a Makas B'chayros in Lebanon. And everyone, it blows the mind. It really does. And yes, Yiddish Kop, it's amazing. It's a makkah that's built with a lot of technology, but it's also miraculous. And when you start noticing we live in Hashem's miracles, we're literally living miracles. So instead of living in a negative space, cosmically, you look at this, it's amazing to be a Jew. Oh, there's anti-Semitism, there's problems. Yeah, that's hard. Accept the fear. And then look to be how beautiful this is. Call out the name of Hashem. And you say, but what am I doing? It is also depressing. It's a fact that it's depressing. It's a fact that it's depressing, and it's a fact that it's awesome. And when you choose to live in this fact over that fact, then Ya'er Panav Itanu Selah. Hashem says, I need you to call my name out. And the work of tshuva is to be able to reach that space. Forgive us, God, we didn't notice how awesome it is to be a Jew. I didn't notice how special it is to be bound and connected to you. And I'm asking you to be able to sprinkle, right? To sprinkle these pure living waters on us. And we daven and we say, Hashem, Leiv Tohar Brali Elekim. That's a tefillah. David HaMelech says it in Kapitel Nun Aleph and 2. Hashem, I'm asking you to create for me a pure heart. What's a pure heart? He says that we say this Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur after Ma'ariv at the end. The David Mizmor, we say Neki Chapayim Uvar Levov. It's to be a pure heart. To bar levov, that the heart is pure. Asher le'nasar hashav nafshi v'le'nishba le'nirma yisav bracha me'is Hashem. You want to get a bracha from Hashem? The way to get a bracha is by being pure, simple, real with God, by being happy and excited deep in our hearts. It's by noticing all those things that disconnect us, by noticing all the feelings that block us from Hashem, that disable our connection, and it's to just notice them each time, yeah, and then find Hashem in the moment. And Avram Avinu was around many moons ago, but he's still there today. He's still inside you. You're still the first Jew, because there's places where you go, nobody's ever gone before. You're walking right into that space to bring Hashem, to bring the emunah of Hashem into a world which doesn't have it, which needs Hashem in it. And it doesn't work unless you do Teshuva. So now we know why the process of Teshuva and Aser Semi Teshuva means it involves a lot of fasting. It involves a lot of work, right? Saying things, understanding, and asking and begging Hashem to help us. We're not begging Hashem for a good year. Hashem wants to give you a good year. We're asking Hashem that we should feel His beautiful presence. And then you will manifest a good year. So in order to get the good year, we need to do the work ourselves. The work is to feel Hashem's presence in our lives. And yes, in order to be able to feel Hashem's presence in our lives, it's work that requires godly power. Can't do it on your own. The only way we can do it is because Hashem actually gave us the power. So it doesn't take a moment, it doesn't take a second, it takes time. It takes 10 days of tshuva because it's 10 days of working. It takes a whole month of Elul to be able to reach the point of oneness, of achdus, of Hashem Echad. So in summation, if we look at it, what's the goal? The goal is to build a relationship with Hashem. The goal is to build emunah, into our lives to bring Hashem down to us. How do we do that? We do that by noticing the external that meets the eye and by calling Hashem's name, just like Avram Avinu. Vayikra Shem Hashem Hashem ki Elam. Jews know how to do this naturally. It's who we are. It's what makes us tick. It's what we're about. And if you do this avodah, then you understand what Teshuva is. And then when you cry, it's not me crying, please Hashem, forgive me. No, Hashem, I'm not getting you. I'm getting the negative. And through my crying, I'm able to break the barrier. I'm able to break the obstacle and the concealment so that I can start seeing Hashem for real. And that's our avodah.